Congress has released a very big update for millions of Social Security, SSI, and SSDI beneficiaries. Now want to send out extra $2,400 Social Security checks to eligible retirees. The additional aid would help many Americans as the crisis continues to affect the country. And there is a Social Security benefit cliff looming, with retirees seeing their checks garnished as soon as 2035. According to the latest federal Social Security report, the program has just enough funding to send out monthly checks to older Americans and those with disabilities for 13 years. Beyond that, a 20% reduction in benefits is needed for the program to be sustainable. Treasury Secretary Jenny Yellen said in a statement on the Social Security report, in the coming decades, it will be vital for Congress to take steps to put Social Security and Medicare on solid financial footing for the long term. The Vermont Senator, along with Elizabeth Warren and a group of other Democrats, are putting forward a plan to change this. The proposal is a bill that would increase the benefit by $2,400 a year and really fully refund the program through 2096. To pay for it, the Democrats are proposing a raise to the earnings cap for paying into Social Security. Right now, Americans are taxed only on their first $140,000 in income to pay for Social Security. Earnings beyond that are not touched, and according to an official fact sheet, Senator Sanders and the Social Security Expansion Act would lift this cap and subject all income above $250,000 to the Social Security payroll tax. Raising the income threshold is not a new concept, and it's one that Manchin, a key centrist, has already expressed support for. Early this year, the Democrat from West Virginia said the payroll tax cap should be taken up to $400,000 to put Social Security on a more sustainable fiscal path. While Sanders' plan is one solution to patching the popular program, Republicans indicated that it wouldn't draw their votes. They tend to resist tax increases to fund more generous safety net benefits, favoring other fixes. Lindsey Graham of South Carolina and the ranking member of the Senate Budget Committee suggested in a congressional hearing that the program's retirement age would probably need to be raised. This is a step that Senator Romney expressed support for early this year. Romney previously proposed the Trust Act, a bipartisan bill directed at helping and fixing Social Security and other ailing programs. Critics said that legislation will end up cutting some benefits. Romney, a Republican from Utah, said during a budget committee that Senator Sanders makes a wonderful plea, which many people agree with. That is the need for helping our seniors and providing better benefits for them and so forth. Bernie Sanders told reporters this week that enthusiasm within the Democratic Party is extremely low and warned of low turnout from the party's base in this year's midterm. Sanders argued that it is unlikely the Democrats will clinch victories in the midterms. He stated the Republicans stand an excellent chance of gaining control of the House and quite possibly the Senate. The Democrats face significant headwinds to maintain their thin majorities in Congress in the midterm elections, a problem that has only been exacerbated by voters' concerns over high inflation. Inflation rates have soared to near 40-year highs in the wake of the crisis, and many people are feeling this financial squeeze at the gas pump and the grocery store. Sanders reiterated his long-term publicized concern over the party's handling over two centrists of Sinema and Manchin, who have opposed large components of Biden's agenda. Folks, do you believe that President Biden is doing all that it takes to send the fourth stimulus check, or do you believe that he needs to do a better job on this?
This is the gentlewoman from Texas, Ms. Garcia, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to celebrate the record-breaking number of jobs created under President Biden's watch, his plan to lower costs for hardworking American families, and our plan to continue building a better America. Since President Biden took office, the economy has added 8.7 million new jobs. 8.7 million new jobs. That is staggering. Fun fact, Mr. Speaker, this is the most jobs added in any president's first 16 months. I repeat, the most jobs added in any president's first 16 months. This is historic. The fact that the economy is booming is no accident. You see, President Biden laid the foundation for an amazing recovery through his American Rescue Plan and vaccination program. This plan got people back to work, kids back in schools, and helped the American economy bounce back. Together with President Biden, House Democrats are not only bringing back jobs, but we are growing paychecks for households across the country. Because of this, unemployment is near historic lows, and even better, the number of Americans relying on unemployment benefits has dropped by more than 90%. This is huge. In short, our nation has recovered 96% of the jobs lost during the pandemic and is on track to return to pre-pandemic employment levels before the end of the year. Mr. Speaker, this is a direct result of President Biden's leadership, Congress's partnership, and the backing of the American people. And while many Americans are back at work, we've heard calls from hardworking families struggling with the cost of inflation. Sadly, Putin's war against Ukraine is now the biggest single.
Well, we are at the epicenter of tech lobbying in Washington today, the Rayburn House Office Building. Now, in the room directly behind me, lawmakers are debating a new bipartisan framework for privacy legislation that has eluded Congress for years. Now, this new bill would only allow companies to collect data that is reasonably necessary, proportionate, and limited. It would also create a single national system, but with certain carve-outs for existing laws in some states, and it would tighten the rules around kids. Now, industry is generally on board with this, even though it is still early. They say they would rather deal with one national law than 72 different privacy bills that have been introduced or passed in 37 different states. But right upstairs from me is a completely different story. That's where a different group of bipartisan lawmakers is trying to drum up support for their antitrust bill. Those lawmakers are Representative David Cicilline, a Democrat, and a Republican, Ken Buck. Cicilline said that America is ready for Congress to take action to rein in the abusive power of big.
Two massive tech bills are gaining traction simultaneously on Capitol Hill. Alon Mui joins us now with more. I don't think you have to go. I think I had to go to get to you, Alon. You take your time.
All right, Joe. Well, I'm here right now to tell you that those bills promise to reshape the way that big tech does business. Both are getting a public vetting in Congress today, but the industry is taking very different positions on them. The American Data Privacy and Protection Act is getting an early thumbs up. It would prevent data collection beyond what is reasonably necessary and proportionate for a specific product or service. Now, that rule would be applied across the country, and consumers would still be able to sue companies, but not until 4 years after this bill passes. Well, this compromise is the result of years of negotiations between the companies and Congress. It's got bipartisan support, and a hearing today in a key House committee hopes to build on that momentum. However, the other tech bill has bipartisan support too, and that one is making the industry nervous. The American Innovation and Choice Online Act, aka the antitrust bill, would prevent self-preferencing and could break up big tech. Two of the sponsors of this bill, Democratic Congressman David Cicilline and Republican Ken Buck, they